The Colorado sun was painting Willow Lake in liquid gold when her voice sliced through the morning like a rusty knife. "Mr. Reeves, just what in heaven's name do you think you're doing out here?" I turned slowly, rod still in hand, the line drifting lazy in the water. There she stood at the edge of my property line like she owned the breeze itself. Karen Voss, president of the Pine Ridge Estates HOA, sun hat the size of a satellite dish, clipboard clutched like the 10 Commandments. "Fishing, Karen. On my dock. With my rod. In front of my house." She flipped pages with manicured fury. Section 3, Article 7.2 of the Covenants clearly prohibits unauthorized use of community waterway resources without board-approved permits. That's a $200 fine, payable in 30 days. I couldn't help the laugh that escaped. I've lived here 8 years. That dock is deeded to me. The water touches my backyard. This is insane. The lake is a shared community asset, she sniffed, chin tilted like she was addressing peasants. We maintain standards for everyone's safety and property values. I'm simply enforcing the rules that keep this neighborhood civilized. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of the fine, I could pay it blindfolded, but because of that word civilized. It was the same word she used when they made my neighbor rip out his kid's treehouse last summer. The same word for the ticket they slapped on Mrs. Patel for leaving her holiday lights up 4 days past the deadline. Nothing says community like weaponizing bylaws against your own neighbors. So I dug. I pulled every deed, every old plat map, every forgotten clause from the closing packet. And there it was, buried in dusty legalese. Willow Lake had never belonged to the HOA. It was owned by the original developer's dissolved LLC. Water rights had sat in limbo for years, quietly available to the highest sealed bid. 2 weeks and one very motivated real estate attorney later, the entire lake, 47 acres of water, lake bed, and all usage rights, was mine. I didn't send a press release. I just waited. 3 days after the paperwork cleared, Karen marched up my driveway with her usual entourage, 2 board drones and her loyal treasurer, Gary. 6 violations now, she announced, fanning pink slips like winning lottery tickets. That's $1,200. Ignore it, and we lien your home. I handed her a thick manila envelope. Before you waste more ink, read this. She ripped it open. Her face went from smug to nuclear in 3 seconds flat. You bought the lake? That's impossible. Check the county recorder. It's all there. I own the water now. Every drop. Those community permits you love charging for boating, swimming, your little wine and kayak socials? All revoked. Effective immediately. Gary actually sputtered. Karen looked like she might stroke out right on my lawn. This is outrageous. We'll fight this in court. I leaned on the railing, calm as the lake behind me. Fight away. But every single citation you issue about my lake from now on is going to cost your precious HOA treasury in legal fees. Tick-tock, Karen. For 4 days she vanished. Then the white SUV with tinted windows started creeping past my house, idling like a vulture. Next came the environmental audit letter from some phantom firm, paid for by concerned citizens. Then orange caution tape appeared around my dock at 3 a.m., under official investigation. No notice, no authority. My security cameras caught 2 hooded figures. One had Karen's unmistakable clipboard swagger. I drove straight to the sheriff's substation. Deputy Ramirez watched the footage and raised an eyebrow. Trespassing, vandalism, impersonating officials. That's her, right? File the charges, I said. I'm done playing nice. I printed bright red yard signs. Private lake. HOA has 0 authority here. Every lakeside neighbor put one up within 48 hours. Karen retaliated by flooding mailboxes with dock review threats. My neighbor Maggie, a retired teacher who'd never raised her voice in her life, showed up at my door with the letter trembling in her hand. They've never cared before. Why now? Because they lost the lake, I told her. So they're terrorizing the rest of you to pretend they still matter. Tear it up. I've got lawyers on speed dial. I sent certified cease and desists to every board member, copied the county water commissioner. That same week we hit them with the lawsuit. Court day was pure poetry. Karen's lawyer droned on about civic duty and protecting the children. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, didn't even look up from her notes. Do you have any ownership interest in this lake whatsoever? No, Your Honor, the lawyer admitted. Then you have 0 standing. My attorney stood. We're requesting immediate injunctive relief and sanctions for misuse of association funds. Granted, the judge said. The HOA is barred from any further communications regarding the lake. Sanctions hearing next month. Karen stormed out without a word, but the real explosion was coming. Discovery documents revealed the masterpiece. For 2 years, Karen had funneled HOA dues into fake lake maintenance contracts with shell companies that traced straight back to her cousin's accounts. Over $85,000 vanished into thin air. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. The kind that crosses state lines and interests the feds. The district attorney moved fast. The recall petition gathered 82 signatures overnight. At the emergency meeting, former board members turned on her, spilling years of bullying and backroom deals. Karen didn't show. She'd resigned the day before, citing health reasons. 2 days later, the sheriff's deputies found her at a motel outside Albuquerque, suitcase full of cash, burner phones, trying to board a flight under a fake name. 14 felony counts. The local news ran the headline for a week. HOA president indicted after lake ownership feud turns criminal. The new board, led by Maggie, actually listened to people. They reversed dozens of bogus fines and refunded nearly $15,000. I granted the neighborhood a free recreational license for the lake. No fees, no stupid permits, just common sense rules and a clear clause. No one gets to play dictator ever again. Last week I was back on my dock, rod in hand, when Maggie stopped by with iced tea. You didn't have to buy the whole lake, Tyler. I smiled, watching the line drift. Someone had to remind everyone that rules are supposed to serve the people, not the other way around. The neighborhood is breathing again. Kids splash without looking over their shoulders. Neighbors wave instead of glare. The red signs still line the shore, not as warnings anymore, but as quiet reminders of what happens when one person confuses power with permission. So here's the question that still keeps me up some nights. True or false? Karen Voss was just an overzealous neighbor protecting community standards, or did she finally get the exact karmic fishing hook she spent years handing out to everyone else? Who really abused their authority? The guy who bought the lake, or the woman who turned civilized living into her own personal police state? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one.